budgetary matters that we're here to talk about today, I do want to just take a moment to acknowledge the incredible work that you've done as a leader within the Department of Interior and in the administration, along with all of you who are serving and all of your staff. You know, what a difference leadership makes across all areas and all missions and bureaus of the department, whether that's addressing tribal affairs and being good partners to our sovereign tribal nations, addressing the climate crisis, or tackling our conservation and our water issues. And so with that in mind, I want to just really celebrate some of the big successes that the department has made over the last couple of years, and also acknowledge some of the proposals in the budget that I'm very excited about. In particular, on tribal affairs, the Biden administration, after a 4-year hiatus of the Tribal Nations Conference, has begun to convene and consult once again with our tribal nations. The budget makes significant investments in our tribal nations, and the particular initiatives, Madam Secretary, that you have led on around missing and murdered Indigenous women and the boarding school project. And I'm excited to also see in the budget full funding for contract support costs, which is vital to our tribal nations, and something that I worked on for many years, which is to secure mandatory funding for Indian water rights settlements. And Mr. Chairman, I would like to say it is long past due to get it done. Our tribes are depending on us, and we have to get that across the finish line. And I want to commit to you all today that I'm here to be in that fight to make it happen. On conservation and science, obviously we see significant investments in this budget. I'm especially appreciative of the commitment to the 30 by 30 initiative, which, Madam Secretary, you've taken such a leadership role. The increase in firefighter salary funding, which we know is so vital for our first responders, and of course the comprehensive approach to conservation and water issues in general. And of course, the commitment and leadership of the department in helping to get our climate and clean energy dollars on the ground, which this body passed through our work on the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure bill. So it's really an extraordinary accomplishment. I'm excited. As you all know, I worked at OMB and I'm a bona fide budget nerd. And so I'm always excited to read about the initiatives that are in the department's budget. But I do want to take a couple of moments to touch on some issues that are near and dear to New Mexico's 1st Congressional District, which, Madam Secretary, you know oh so well as the former Congresswoman for our district. And the first is I want to thank you personally for your support for the To'Hajiilee Community School. We just passed over $90 million to help replace that community school in the To'Hajiilee community of the Navajo Nation. And as you know, Madam Secretary, that will transform that community, not only by bringing dollars to update that facility, but also jobs and really a transformative impact in the community. But as I think has been stated, that's just one school. And we have an over $4 billion backlog in BIE schools. And I know that there's an increase in this budget for our BIE schools, but it only comes to about 1/10 of the total amount needed to actually address that backlog. So my first question is, and I think I can assume the answer, will you commit to working with us here in Congress to make sure we get full funding to address that backlog?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Secondly, I want to just touch really quickly on 4 projects that are really vital for our district and our tribal communities, and that is to ask for your support and your help in getting administrative efforts to protect Chaco Canyon across the finish line, administrative efforts to withdraw the Buffalo Tract in New Mexico, to advance the water rights of the Middle Rio Grande Pueblos, which are currently beginning the adjudication process, and to protect Oak Flat, which of course is the sacred land of the Apache people, which not only live in Arizona in the chairman's home state, but also in our state in New Mexico.
Congresswoman, thank you so much. I know that a lot of the projects and issues that you mentioned, they are being looked at in our department, and I just appreciate your support and your full support of tribal nations across our country. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I know I'm out of time, but I do want to just say I would be remiss if I did not bring up the issue of the Colorado River. The Basin State states have made extraordinary efforts to try to find a collaborative path forward. My colleague from California is not here to defend his home state, but we really need to make sure that all of our basin states come together in good faith and that we do not have a federal takeover of our waters on the Colorado. So, I do want to ask for the commitment of the department to work collaboratively with our states and tribes on the Colorado, as well as the Rio Grande. So thank you very much, and I yield.